So I'm going to shoot some 4x5, and I know a lot of people don't shoot a lot of 4x5. 4x5 is basically large format film. So one of the things is with looking at this camera, so this camera is actually a new camera. It's not an old camera, but it does have an old lens on it. So this is a vintage lens that I bought, and you can literally just take off your lenses, just like so. And your lens has everything on it. So if you have a look, there's the shutter speed, the aperture, yeah, everything's right there. And then basically this is just a holder for film and a lens. So the concept is your light comes straight through here and basically hits your film, which is on the back, and then you close your shutter. Well, the light comes through, your shutter's closed, and you have your aperture and everything set, and your shutter speed, and then you put your film in, and then you just open it, which is your shutter, and then that will bake on an imprint onto the back of the film. So that's basically how it works. Why would you shoot something like this? Well, the thing is, with 4x5, is that's the size of your negative. And so that means that's how much information you get on an image. And with film, because it's not digital, it can expand. You can just blow it up, huge, and it doesn't pixelate because there's no actual pixels in this. And so a lot of people will use 4x5 on big campaigns if they want some really nice high res imagery. And it's just really fun to do. So another thing with having it this big is everything changes. So this lens is actually 150mm, but it's equivalent to a 50mm, and I shoot all my portraits on a 50mm. So that just made sense for me. And also this is a 5.6 f5.6 lens. So I'm not sure exactly what that's equivalent to, but it's probably like an f2. Because you got such a big negative, everything changes like that. But to put things into perspective, like a 35mm negative is about that big, and then 120mm is about this big, and then this would be about 4 times that, and then an iPhone sensor is probably the size of your fingernail. So if you have a look at the difference, fingernail to that, that's how much difference the resolution is, and your depth of field and everything else that comes along with it. So this is how you load the film. So these are film holders, and this is what your film looks like. So basically with this, I've got black and white sheet film in here, and because I'm like a lot of people that doesn't have tons of space and I don't have my own dark room, you don't actually need a dark room. You can use a tent, so I've got a tent over here, and basically this is a changing room, and you can use this thing to get your film from this into your holders and also into your developing tanks. And I'm going to do that today as well. So I'm using some Kodak 400T Max because I just wanted some black and white, and this is just like a very, I guess, like a standard film, nice black and white film, and it's going to be easy to develop, and you get 100 sheets. I'm pretty sure you get 100 sheets in this. No, 50 sheets in a box like that. So that means 50 photos. So with the holders, if you notice, this one here just says black and white 400 here, so I've actually already just wrote that down. And if you can see, it's white at the top, and this one here is black at the top. So once you take a photo, so white means it hasn't been exposed, and then once I do take a photo, I'd pull that out, turn it around, put it back in, and I'd put it back in black like this, and that means it's been exposed and it's ready to develop the film. And if you can't see, when you're inside the change tent, there's actually little bumps on there, so you can feel exactly if you've exposed or if you need to change it, because sometimes, for instance, I've got a shot of film here, and I've already this one here hasn't been exposed, but the other side has, and I wanted, because I'm about to go out in the field and take some photos, I want to make sure I've got them all loaded up and it's all ready to go. So that's basically how all that works. So I've got a couple here that have already been done. The other thing is, it's really important to label exactly what film's in there. So you can put a piece of tape on there, unless you're constantly shooting the same film, which I have been lately. I've been shooting T-Max 400, so I constantly keep the same film in there. It's a safe bet, even though these ones all say like Portra 160. I know for a long time now I've only been shooting T-Max 400 in my 4x5 camera. But it's not a very good system. You should really write down exactly what film you got on there, because if you put this away, especially for a year or two, and you come back to it and you just don't know what you're shooting. So here's another piece of the puzzle. This here is a developing tank, and if you're like me and you don't have a big studio that has, you can develop everything in, I use my changing room, which is the tent, and then once I take the photo, so say this photo here has been developed, I've got 2 images that have been shot on this, and then I'll put this inside the tent, and then I will transfer those sheet films into this. And so you can't see anything because it's pitch black and you just got your arms in there, but you have to be able to feel the actual film itself, and then you slot them in, and you can slot 3 on either side. So once you load the film in there, so this one here will be able to take 6 images. Then inside the change tent, I will drop those straight down here, and then I'll seal it off with this cap. And then once I seal it off with the cap, then it's light tight. So no light will be able to get into there. And then you're ready to pour your chemicals in there and start developing. And that's a whole nother thing. But that's basically how it's going to come out. So after this, I'm going to pull out 6 images, which will be these 6 here. And I actually shot these a long time ago. I don't know what's on them anymore. So it's going to be a nice surprise for me. And then I'm going to put them into my developing tank, and then when I get a chance later on this week, I'll go through and I'll develop that film, and I can just do that at home at my laundry sink, which is nice and easy. If you've got not much space, just having a developing tank like this is nice and cheap, and it's nice and easy. But you can also just package. Another thing that I like to do is just, especially once this box is run out, is I'll open this box up inside the tent, and then everything that's developed, I'll put it back into this box. Then I'll wrap this box up in tape, and I'll write some notes on there and say 10 developed images, if it's like push or pulled, and then I'll actually post this off or take it down to my local developing shop, and they'll develop it for me. That's also another good option. Not many places develop 4x5, so you have to ask, and it can be really expensive, but it's a great option right there. So last thing that I want to quickly show you is actually through the ground glass of this. Everything is upside down. So just keeping in mind when you're shooting that everything will be upside down and will be backwards, and that's exactly what you see. So this little guy, if you want to turn this just comes straight off the back. This is your ground glass, and if you want to shoot portrait, you shoot this way, and if you want to shoot landscape, you just turn it around that way. And that's basically how that works right there. And there's little locks on the side, so you can't open it, but that was just placed on there upside down, so I'll just put that straight back on there. And then that, once the locks are turned off, which are like that, that opens up just like that, and your film will slot straight down in behind that. There we go. And then once you're ready to take the photo, you take out your dark slide, and then you make sure that your lens is closed so you don't ruin your piece of film. So you close your lens, put that down, take out your dark slide, and then you hit your shutter, dark slide back in, pull it out, and then your photo is ready to go and get developed. So it's a lot of work just for one photo, let me say. But it's also just a lot of fun. And why would you shoot film, or why would you shoot large format film? It's because it's just like the most opposite thing to like digital photography, and it's so tangible, it's so much fun, it is so expensive, it is so time consuming, and so it really helps you fall in love with your images. Like if you go out and do a whole shoot and you shoot like 6 images, like for myself, I can't wait to get these home and get them developed. I sit there and spend an hour developing my film, then scanning my film, and then getting them onto my computer. And it's just like such a rewarding process of seeing like, whoa, it actually worked out, or if it didn't work out, it can be disheartening. But it really helps you think differently and fall in love with photography all over again as well. And so different to holding any other kind of camera, because with a camera like this, like you could hold it by hand and it would be really hard, but you also, like a lot of the times you have it on a tripod, which is so different to how you shoot anything else. And to me, it's really nice to practice different types of ways of shooting and just, getting a little bit uncomfortable and pushing my comfort zone with my own photography. And this definitely hones in on all of that for me. So it's not for everybody. I definitely recommend that you should have a try, and if you don't, it can be expensive to buy a camera like this and to buy film. So like sometimes just ask a friend. If you know someone that shoots 4x5 and you want to give it a go, that's like a good way just to see if it's for you. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to go through now and actually get into the changing tent, which kind of looks like it's from a sci-fi movie. And you put in all your film and everything into this little hole here. And I'm going to do that now, and then we're going out into the field and we're actually going to take some photos. So let's get into that.